Good morning and welcome to the next place 6-7. I'm your host, Darkel. Thank you for being with me today. I would like to say to my players and players, thank you for being with me. I want to apologize because sometimes I slack and forget about the quiz of the day. I just forget. I'm so sorry. I try to do a better job of giving that out the first thing I do. Like right now, I'm going to ask. Who was known as Chocolate Thunder? That was his nickname. Okay. I would like to start the day off by saying please like, share, and subscribe. It takes less than 3 seconds and is always free. I would like to say, start the day by saying the word of today. Let's see where the word of the day is hypocrisy. It's the act of pretending to have moral standards, beliefs, or virtues that you do not actually follow or possess. It happens when a person says one thing or tells others how to behave, but does the opposite themselves. That's pretty deep. That's a heck of a word. I would like to say that again. The word is hypocrisy. Is the act of pretending to have moral standards, beliefs, or virtues that you do not actually follow or possess. It happens when a person says one thing or tells others how to behave, but does the opposite themselves. The quote of the day is, a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. I want to say that quote of the day again. A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. In the WNBA, the Storm defeated the Sky 97-88. Dominique Malanga had 26 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist. Camila Cardoso had 15 points, 13 rebounds. The Dream defeated the Tempo 107-95. Ryan Howard had 22 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Marina Mabry had 36 points, and Naira Sabali had 12 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists in a losing cause. In Major League Baseball, the Jays defeated Boston 2-1. My Mets defeated Atlanta 8-5. Minnesota defeated Baltimore 9-5. Philadelphia 6, St. Louis 5. Texas 4, Los Angeles Angels 1. San Diego 3, Milwaukee 2. Tampa Bay 10, Oakland 6. Arizona 9. Colorado had the donut, tried to glaze me, 9-0. Give them some coffee with that donut. Houston 6, San Francisco 3. Los Angeles Dodgers 6, and Kansas City 5. That was a pretty short lot of games, a lot of players. I guess a lot of games was, they had the day off or could have been rained out. Things happen. Today we want to speak about a great player that I never really remembered, but I heard his name so much. I wish I would have remembered him or saw him play. I never did, so I can't stand here and say I did. But there was a lot of older cats, older than me, that spoke of him a lot. I wish I would have had the chance to really make my own reservation about his game, because they talk like he was all that. Well, his name was David O'Neal Thompson, born on July 13th, 1954. Commonly known by the nickname of Skywalker, is an American former professional basketball player. He played with the Denver Nuggets of both the American Basketball Association and the National Basketball Association. Okay, this got to get out of there. This got to get out of there too. Okay, so he played for both associations. The NBA was created on August 3rd, 1949 with the merger of the Basketball Association of America, BAA, and the National Boys Basketball League, NBL. This league later adopted the BAB's history. Okay, somehow I must have did that. But David Thompson, again, played for both leagues, the NBA and the NBA. He played with the Denver Nuggets of both the American Basketball Association and the National Basketball, as well as the Seattle Supersonics of the NBA, before drug problems cut his career short. Wow. He was previously a star in college for North Carolina State, leading the Wolfpack to his first NCAA championship in 1974. Thompson is one of the 11 players to score 70 or more points in an NBA game. He was inducted into Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in I would like to know who this Naismith dude is. Basketball Hall of Fame in 1996. Probably some peckerwood that ain't even worthy of having that name. Thompson was known for his exceptional leaping ability that enabled him to become one of the game's premier dunkers in the 1970s and earned him the nickname Skywalker. Michael Jordan said that the whole meaning of vertical leap began with David Thompson. Bill Walton described Thompson as Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, and LeBron James rolled into one. Thompson attended Crest Senior High School where he played for the school's varsity basketball team for 4 years. He starred in the North Carolina's Coaches Association East-West All-Star basketball game in 1971. Thompson is a first cousin of Alvin Gentry, both growing up in Shelby, North Carolina. Thompson led North Carolina State University to an undefeated season, 27-0 in 1973, but the Wolfpack was banned from postseason play that year due to NCAA violations involving the recruiting of Thompson. He then led the Wolfpack to a 30-1 season in NCAA's Men's One Division Basketball Championship in 1974. In the semifinal game, North Carolina State defeated the reigning national champs UCLA in a double overtime. In the championship game, they won easily over Marquette, 76-64. His nickname was Skywalker because of his incredible vertical leap. The alley-oop pass, now a staple of today's high-flying above the rim game, was invented by Thompson and his NC State teammate Monte Towe and first used as an integral part of offense by NC State coach Norm Sloan to take advantage of Thompson's leaping ability. NC State's game against nationally fourth-ranked University of Maryland Terrapins in 1974 ACC tournament finale in an era in which only conference champions were invited to the NCAA tournament is considered one of the best college basketball games of all time. Thompson and teammate Tommy Burleson led the number one ranked Wolfpack to a 103-100 win in overtime in a game played with no shot clock and no three-point field goal. Maryland shot 63% from the field for the game and lost. Thompson and the Wolfpack will go on to win the national championship that year. Maryland's exclusion from the NCAA tournament due to the loss, despite their national ranking, will lead to expansion of the NCAA tournament the very next season to include teams other than the league champions. That was crazy. Thompson is considered one of the greatest players in history of the Atlantic Coast Conference among such talents as Michael Jordan, Ralph Sampson, Tim Duncan, Christian Laettner, and Tyler Hansborough. Thompson played basketball while the slam dunk was outlawed from 1967 to 1977 by the Lou Alcindor rule, because Lou Alcindor was Mr. Duncanstein. They couldn't stop him. In 1975, playing the final home game against NC State against UNC Charlotte, late in the second half, Thompson on a breakaway received a long pass from a teammate, resulting in the first and only dunk of his collegiate career. Resulting in the first and only dunk, I know what I'm reading, in his collegiate career, a goal that was promptly disallowed by a technical foul. Thompson's number 44 remains a lone number retired by the school in men's basketball. Ain't that something? In 2023, Thompson became the first player to have a statue outside Reynolds Coliseum. Thompson was the #1 draft pick of both the American Basketball Association, Virginia Squires, and the National Basketball Association, Atlanta Hawks, in the 1975 drafts of both leagues. He eventually signed with the ABA's Denver Nuggets. He finished runner-up to Julius Erving. Yeah, Julius was the best. Runner-up to Julius ever in the first ever slam dunk competition. Julius was the real skywalker to me. Because I saw him. I saw his highlight. He was a bad man. So if he beat him, he probably was all over his head. Anyway, he finished runner-up to Julius Erving in the first ever slam dunk competition held at the 1976 ABA All-Star Game in Denver. See, the ABA was dunking and doing all that dunk fly stuff, where the NBA had all the white players with the tight pants that couldn't jump for shit. So all the dazzle and razzle was in the ABA, and when they merged the leagues, that's when they started to allow the dunk again. Okay? Because all the best players really that do all the fly stuff, that can dunk and do everything, was in the ABA. Okay, Denver, but was named MVP of the ABA All-Star Game. As a prize, he received a condenser television set. That season, the Nuggets finished 60-24 and beat the Kentucky Colonels in a hard-fought 7-game series to advance to the 1976 ABA Finals. In the finals, the Nuggets faced Erving and the New York Nets. And Thompson averaged 28.3 points and 6.3 rebounds per game in a tightly contested 4-2 series loss, including an almost heroic 42-point effort to lead all scorers in a narrow 112-106 Game 6 loss. After the season ended, Thompson was awarded the 1976 ABA Rookie of the Year award. When Alvin Adams accepted the 1976 NBA Rookie of the Year award, he thanked Thompson for choosing to play in the NBA. Following the 1976 ABA-NBA merger, Thompson continued with the Nuggets. He went on to make the NBA All-Star Game 4 times. On April 9, 1978, the last day of that year's regular season, Thompson scored 73 points against the Detroit Pistons in an effort to win the NBA scoring title, which he lost by 0.1 points per game to San Antonio's George Gervin, who's the Iceman, who scored 63 points in a game played later that same day. After the 1977-78 season, Thompson signed a then-record contract extension that paid him $4 million over 5 years. That was a lot of money back then. After a foot injury caused him to miss the final 36 games of 1979-80 season, he returned to average 25.5 points in 77 games the next year. After Thompson's scoring average dipped to 14.9 points in 1981-82, the Nuggets traded him to the Seattle Supersonics on June 17, 1982 for Bill Hanslick and a draft pick. Thompson experienced somewhat of a career revival during his first year in Seattle, making the 1982-83 All-Star Game after averaging 15.9 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 3 assists, which was comparatively low totals when contrasted with the stats from his prime in Denver. During that year's playoff and his last postseason appearance, Thomas averaged just 12 points in a game series loss to the Portland Trail Blazers. The next year, Thompson missed nearly all of 1983-84 season due to drug rehabilitation. Following his release, Tonics re-signed him for the remaining 19 games of the 1983-84 season, in which he averaged a career low of 12.6 points before an off-court 1984 knee injury forced him into retirement. Thompson's substance abuse problems began due to feelings of loneliness and isolation after his 1979-80 foot injury. They first became public after his erratic debut season in Seattle, in which he checked into a Denver rehabilitation facility in 1983. His career-ending 1984 injury resulted from him being shoved down a stairwell during a fight at Studio 54, and later forced into his failed 1985 tryout with the Indiana Pacers, after which he was arrested that night for public intoxication. By 1986, Thompson was reportedly spending $1,000 a day on cocaine, for which he checked into rehab that year in Kirkland, Washington. After he was sentenced to 180 days in jail in 1987 for assaulting his wife, Thompson became committed Christian and reorganized his life. And that is the great David Thompson. So, I would like to, before I go, say please free Poppy, free Sadiq, see Just, Supreme, Naheem. And before I go, I always would like to leave you with these fine words. May eat if you want, but never want as long as you live. May each of you live to be 100, and me 100 minus a day. So I'll never know when great people like yourselves have passed away. May you live as long as you want, but never want as long as you live. Thank you for joining me. God bless. Peace and blessings and wealth to everyone. I'm out.